Boom! Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Hat Trick Heroes. We are back, ladies and gents. It's been a little while, but we're excited to dive in all things EPL, WSL, international break because it's back round again, our FPL kind of season, how it's going, and much, much more. And to do so, like I'm always do on this show, joined by my two esteemed I'm not going to say guests, my panelists, I'm going to say, because they're here with me. So let's go around the table, say hellos. So, Wes, great to have you back on again. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, all good. Loving the little upgrade as well that I've got now. So yeah, been upgraded from co-host or to whatever to now panelist. I'm happy with that. Always nice as well coming off the back of a Spurs win as well. FPL, I'm doing brilliant, Holly. I am flying. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this show because it's been a couple of weeks without my favourite people. So yeah, it's going to be a good one tonight.
Definitely. We've got so much to cover as well, which is going to be nice. And also, Nelson, welcome back again. How are you, my friend?
It's good to be back, Holly. I think, without any bias, we are the best front three in the podcast world right now. So, I mean, a question for the people that are watching, obviously, who out of the front three, where would you position us? I think that would be intriguing. If we were a front three, where would they play, each of us? I'm going to put myself down in the middle. Big man up top, target man, 6'4". But I'm glad to be back, Holly. Glad to be back.
Oh, I like that. We need to find out whether people kind of want to see us play. I'd be down for that. But no, it's great to all be back on tonight. Like always, this show is sponsored by the amazing Kofa. So, Wes, without further ado, go ahead, far away. What's Kofa?
Yeah, so Kofa or Kickoff Football Academy, Milton Keynes, run lots and lots of different football sessions across the Milton Keynes area. I've literally just got in from delivering a session tonight as well with one of our partner clubs that we have in the area. If you guys have, anybody's watching as a young budding footballer, boy, girl, male, female, we've got the session that is just for you. So yeah, please do get in touch because we'd love to help everybody along their footballing journey. And basically, we want to find the next Deli Ali, the next Kevin Danso, the next Leah Williamson.
Bosh, love that. So make sure you go check out Kofa. And without further ado, obviously it brings us onto this show. We have been doing the Hat Trick Heroes for a little while now, so if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, get your comments in, so we can start talking about it on the show live. But let's go to start with the Premier League. Now, Wes, I'll come to you first because it's very unusual for Spurs to go into international break with a win under their belt. So beating Leeds 2-1 away from home. What was your kind of summary of the game?
Well, firstly, I was actually at the game. Really, really fortunate to get a ticket for that one. I feel like with Spurs at the moment, and I feel like this in terms of probably the start of the season that we've had, we are substance over style in the sense of we're more often than not doing what we can to pick up points without really playing fantastic or playing really well. I know you kind of covered it on Monday, Holly, on Holly's Hotspurs, but I think the game itself was a good game. It was a decent watch. I think in typical Tottenham fashion, we made it really, really difficult for ourselves. And I think there needs to be a serious conversation around the Italian Aurelio Gomez in Guillermo Vicario, because there was a chance early in the game from a wide free kick and Joe Rodon hits the post. But I need to understand where on earth Vicario is going, because it's not like it's in and around his six and he needs to come and claim it and take everything out. It's quite a way out, and actually he is miles off it. So any better contact, you would argue, or contact towards goal, it's more likely and there's a high chance that that's going to be a goal. And then all of a sudden we're 1-0 down early on in the game against the newly promoted team. And you know what Ellen Road is like. Once that crowd's up, it's a really difficult place to play football. Really, really happy for Matthias Tell. He's a player that I like. I don't think he's a number 9, and I've said that before. For me, he's a left winger. But I was just really happy for him. And I said to my dad at the time, like, he needed that goal just for him, like his confidence. I need to find some West Ham fans that said that they've had our pants down for Kudus, because this guy's just it. Like, he's such a good footballer. The way he maneuvers the ball, the way he shifts, he does a shift for the team as well. And his goal was brilliant. His chant was fantastic as well. Got that going in the away end we did on Saturday. Actually blew up my TikTok a little bit as well, which was unexpected. And yeah, it was just nice to come off the back of, like I say, a game where we've not necessarily played, really well, and sort of come out of it with 3 points. But I think in other games and against higher and better opposition, we need to do better, because I think we will get punished.
Yeah, definitely. It was like I say, there's still a lot to improve on, but we've managed to pick a win up away from home, so I'll take that. And I know that you mentioned obviously pulling down West Ham's pants. I mean, the other side of North London, Nelson managed to do that at the weekend as well, with Arsenal beating them 2-0. So for you, what was your kind of summary of that game? Oh, I think you're on mute.
I've just muted myself. I realised. I think it was a game of complete dominance, Holly. I think it was quite a comfortable victory. I think the scoreline kind of flattered West Ham. I think it should have been more than 2-0. They didn't really trouble us. I think David Raya could have had breakfast, in my opinion. It was not something I think Arsenal fans needed to worry about. Obviously, we all know that a new manager bounce is always imminent. Not imminent, I think that's the wrong word to use, but a new manager bounce is always there when someone comes in to a new club. So thinking that Nuno came in, I was thinking West Ham would be kind of ready for that game. At the same time as well, they've kind of had our number at the Emirates in the last 2 or 3 seasons. So I thought they'd come in and kind of play a counter-attacking style, but the way we kind of broke them down. Give credit to Arteta. I think again this comes back to not even Arteta. I think the man that a lot of Arsenal fans are going to thank over the course of the fact that what we spent in the transfer window is Andrea Berta. He's brought in a lot, and the fact that we have the likes of Madueke, Havertz, Odegaard, who's now gone out. These players of real quality that have now gone out of the squad, and the fact that we don't have to worry because of the depth that we now have in the squad. Odegaard goes out, Zubimendi comes in, slots right into that 6th role, and for me, he was the big difference in that game. He came in that game and kind of carved West Ham open, especially if you look back at that first goal, that pass he gives into Eze, and then obviously Rice gets the rebound. And I know the West Ham fans were trying to give it to Declan himself as well during that game. Obviously, very classy of him to not celebrate, but overall, Holly, I think it was a very comfortable victory. I don't think West Ham really gave us much trouble. So yes, we did pull their pants down, and in style.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Arsenal at West Ham, but it was quite funny to have that kind of happen to them. And obviously with Kudus as well for Spurs, it just is quite funny to laugh at West Ham. But obviously, moving on, I want to talk about obviously Everton beating Palace 2-1, and probably the resurgence was of Jack Grealish. I think there was an interview I watched where he said he's allowed to do what he wants to do in terms of he's got the freedom again. So for you, was that a bit of a shock to the system to see obviously Palace get beaten 2-1?
I think it was a bit of a shock to the system for everybody, really, especially with Palace's sort of unbeaten run. And, they've been going really, really good guns in sort of all competitions, really. My thing for Palace is how they juggle Thursday night, Sunday games, like that transition. Glasner seems to be one of those that's taken every game seriously. And I think Palace's almost lack of squad depth could kill them later on in the season. Having said that, Everton's home form, they've turned the Hill Dickinson Stadium, as it's formerly known, I wouldn't say into a bit of a fortress, but they seem to have got they've got their kind of house in order, so to speak. Like it's home already for them. And so they do have a good home record. I think they're unbeaten at home, and I think they're the only club to boast a 100%, or it was, I don't know if it's still the case, but something like 100% win ratio at their ground. So I think Everton are going good guns at the moment. I think they've got, and I think I said this when it happened, the fact they've got David Moyes in is probably a masterstroke for where they were at the time, for what they were going and what was going to happen with Everton. I don't think they could have probably handpicked a better manager to see them through this transition than David Moyes. He's recovered really well, I think, from his time at Sunderland in particular. Not necessarily United, but Sunderland, where he was getting all sorts of pelters left, right and centre. I think the last couple of jobs he's taken, he's done really well. And yeah, I think that the Grealish signing is just one where it's like, do you know what? listen, mate, I don't want you tracking back. I want you to go and win us the game and be that magic spark in the final third. And I think Grealish is just relishing that main character vibe and energy. And I think with Grealish, it's always an interesting one. I think there is an England spot potentially for Jack Grealish there. You look at England's lack of squad depth or lack of depth on that left-hand side. Grealish, if he has a good year, could easily make that his own going into the World Cup in the USA, Mexico, and Canada in the summer.
It will make, like I say, it'd be interesting to see if he can continue this form at Everton, essentially get into that kind of England space. Because I think it'd be nice for him. I think we kind of all forget, since he didn't really have the best of times at City in terms of showing his full potential, it'd be nice for him to flourish once again. But that kind of moves us on to obviously another upset, I would say, of the weekend, Nelson, because Chelsea 2 versus Liverpool 1. Now, what did you make of this one?
I actually watched the game, and I don't think Liverpool fans have to be worried, but I think you can tell there are some cracks just in defence. I think there are defensive frailties in that back line. And for me, when I watched the game and that ball comes across in like the 96th minute, Andy Robertson, who has been a stalwart in, making sure that Liverpool have been one of the best defences in recent years. I think for me, that is just no excuse for him to let Esteval come behind him and allow him to have essentially what is a tap-in. Great for the young Brazilian. I know Wes has invested in Esteval stocks from way before he joined Chelsea. And I think for the young Brazilian, will bring him a huge boost of confidence heading into, especially when he comes back from the international break. I believe he got a call up for Brazil as well. But I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I just think it's a huge boost of confidence for him when Chelsea come back from the international break. So Liverpool, I think the fact that when you look at, roughly the last 2 weeks and the games that they lost, you're potentially talking about an 8-point lead over Arsenal. But now it's a 1 point them behind Arsenal. So it's crazy how the tables can turn in a matter of 2 weeks. That's why we love the league. That's why it's the best league in the world, because of its competitiveness and kind of the ups and downs. So if I'm Arne Slot, I'm thinking over this international break, how can I really get us back on form? I think if you compare Liverpool and Arsenal's next 5 fixtures, Liverpool have the harder task. I think they still need to face United and also need to face City as well. So if they can win those games, obviously you're looking at them, on track to kind of compete for the title. But if they come out of that maybe in the next 3 games and get, 3 points out of 9, then you, as a Liverpool fan, I think you should be worried, especially after 10 games, because I think 10 games is like the way we can kind of look at the league and see how everyone's done. I know it's quite early after 7 games, so I think Liverpool are still in it, but it's quite a disappointing loss for them. But you have to give credit to Chelsea, who dug in there as well and were able to carve out that winner. So good win for Chelsea, disappointing result for Liverpool, and hopefully after the international break, I think Liverpool have a lot to do, because facing on all 4 fronts, which I think Arne Slot wants to do, he has a lot of work to do after this international break.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the biggest thing is obviously going to international break and hoping nobody kind of picks up any injuries for your respective teams, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's kind of a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde sort of situation with internationals, because obviously you want to see your players kind of rewarded with those international call-ups, but then at the same time you're a bit like, just don't get injured, please. We kind of need you. So, like I say, it's one of them. It's a bit of a twofold. But yeah, just going off to Nelson's point about like the Chelsea, I think there's 3 players at Chelsea that I really like, and it's just really frustrating because they're playing for Chelsea. So Hato, the centre back that came on, is a player that I've liked for a little while. Romeo Lavia, probably the most underrated midfielder for me in the Premier League, and then obviously Esteval, who just looks the real deal, and looks like he could probably fit in to like a Barcelona type of team, within the next couple of years. So like I say, a little bit frustrating on that sense that Chelsea have changed their recruitment policy and are now sweeping up every kind of hot youngster under the age of like 23. So yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating. But no, going back to your point on international break, like you say, it's one of them, you want to see your lads kind of do well on that big stage, but yeah, just hopefully we don't pick up any injuries, especially with our injury record that we've had over the last 18 months, 2 years, we could kind of do with everybody coming back in a clean bill of health, really.
Definitely, because obviously Spencer's been called up again, which is brilliant for Spurs. But I want to kind of come to you, Nelson, in terms of obviously, is there anybody in that list? Again, I know we spoke about it last. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's another international break. But for you, Nelson, is there anybody else in that list that's potentially been called up, not been called up, that you're a bit like, maybe they should have been given a chance or not a chance?
I haven't really looked at the England squad, if I'm being honest, Holly, but I know the big news surrounding the England squad, which I'm going to leave up to Wes, is in regards to Adam Wharton, who I'm surprised he hasn't got a call up. We spoke about Jack Grealish earlier, and the fact that after the game, he's won player of the match, but he's actually come out himself and said that Adam Wharton was the best player on the pitch. For me, that speaks volumes. I think if anybody, especially your opponent as well, like, the Premier League, we know, is the elite, the best of the best. You get into the Premier League because you are good. And for me, if Adam Wharton is being praised like that from his opponents and rivals, I think it speaks volumes. I don't know what Tuchel was thinking. I think he had his reasoning. I think he's come out and said potentially why Adam Wharton didn't get in. But in terms of who has been called up, I'm kind of going to go expand a bit in Europe, Holly. I'm going to give a shout out to my man, my fellow Congolese brother, plays for South London Crystal Palace, Jean-Philippe Mateta. He's been called up for the France squad for the very first time. I'm disappointed as a Congolese person because he had that potential dual nationality to choose between France and Congo. We need the striker, but France, they just like to steal every other person that's from, wherever part of Africa. And for me, that's so frustrating, but he deserves it. He deserves it. That's all I want to just point out, that he deserves the call up. He's been fantastic for Palace, especially, the fact that they're unbeaten run, from April until now. Like, he's been fantastic in that. And since Glasner's come in, I think Glasner's really appreciated his kind of hold-up play. He does a lot for that Palace team. And I think he is an underrated finisher as well. There was a game, I think, a couple of weeks ago where, I think it was the game against Liverpool. There was a couple of, if you see the chances that Mateta had in that game, the way he's kind of curled it outside the box, has hit the post. He's got a range for me. I think he's quite versatile as a target man. So I think he deserves the call up. I'm gutted as a Congolese fan, but it is what it is. But I just wanted to give him a shout out, Holly, because I think he deserves it.
Great shout. Again, the fact that I know who that is just speaks volumes in itself. But Wes, I know Nelson alluded to it, but go on. What was your point on obviously the call ups, etc., etc.?
Justice for Adam Wharton, please. How are we in big 2025 and we're still seeing 36-year-old Jordan Henderson in there because he's great for the dressing room? When you have probably the most un-English midfielder in the world in Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton, and I think I've said this before, is a profile of midfield player that if he was Spanish, if he was Italian, if he was Portuguese, if he was German, Brazilian, you name it, if he was any other nationality, a team would be built around him. But because he's English, it's a bit like, we're a bit unsure on him. And it's really annoying and really strange, because I know in the last 15 years or so, the FA have done a lot of planning on profiling players and what they want each player to look like within an England team. Adam Wharton is the perfect profile for a number 6 or a number 4, as the FA had it way back when, for their England DNA. He is the perfect profile, and we are wasting his talent. He is a midfielder that every English person would go, why don't we produce midfielders like that? We produce one and we are absolutely fobbing him off like you would not believe. I don't understand it. He's probably, I think the thing with Wharton, the question marks was over consistency, because he could do it in certain games, but not in, over a period of time. He's showing his consistency now. And for a young player to be doing it at the highest level in the Premier League, week in, week out, on the European stage as well. And every time I watch Adam Wharton, £18 million looks even more of a bargain every single time. That one is that one's kind of rage baited me, I have to say. The one person I'm really pleased to see in there, though, again, is Elliot Anderson. I think he's one that's really taken that step up into the international scene and played really well. and he's a player that I really like, and I think he's going to get quite a lot of suitors in the next 12 to 18 months, depending on how Forest do, etc. But yeah, I think Adam Wharton just needs to be in that team. And the thing is, at the moment, we're crying out for, as England, we're crying out for somebody to go alongside Declan Rice. You have a player there, Adam Wharton, who exists. Like, put him next to Declan Rice, and you will see his quality. I know we said it when we were doing our Euros stuff. Like, put Wharton in the team, and you'll see a massive difference, because the way he plays the game, he's so calm in possession. Like, if you look back in big games as well for England, we always lose a midfield battle because we don't have anybody that's calm in possession. Adam Wharton is that guy. So please, Thomas, please get him in the squad and get him in the team and build it and allow him to kind of dictate play in the way that he does for Palace, because you will see a massive, massive difference, positive difference for England in terms of how we do things. But yeah, justice for Adam Wharton.
Defo. Hopefully he'll finally get the idea, and we'll get to see him in there very, very soon. But obviously that does kind of move us on, because we do have the WSL to talk about as well. And it's been a very interesting kind of game week, so to speak. So Nelson, I'm going to come to you, because obviously the biggest one, I think, for me was London City 1 versus Liverpool 0. I mean, for you, what did you make of it?
I thought it was a really good game for the Lionesses. They absolutely deserved it, created a lot of chances. And for me, I think when I made my predictions early in the season, it was between two clubs, Leicester City and Liverpool. However, I think Leicester City in the last few weeks have turned things around and, really got some really good results. If I'm Liverpool, I'm really worrying, especially after losing Olivia Smith to Arsenal in the summer. They have a lot to think about. So I think it was a great win for the Lionesses. I think their first home win. Again, just setting new records. And this is a team full, people forget, it's a team full of internationals. It's not just people that have come up from the lower leagues. Obviously, you've got young talent that they've kind of bought. I know Freya Godfrey, who's a really good young talent. She came from Arsenal, came back from injury, made a real impact in that game. So they should be really happy with themselves. And the fact that in the first, I'd say 5 to 6 game weeks, they've got 2 wins under their belt. That's really positive for them. So they've got that winning feeling. It's just about creating, as Wes mentioned, you don't want to, pick up a run of games of losses, or especially in the WSL. So for them, it's all about trying to find that consistency to stay up. So no, great win for them, Holly.
I mean, if we're going to talk about, obviously, teams with consistency, etc., I mean, City 3, Arsenal 2. Nelson, how are you feeling, man? Because we'll probably get onto the league table a little bit later on, but was that a bit of a shock to the system?
He's not a shock. He's not a shock. I'm telling you right now, because for me, I was not. It's one of the first times this in a long time since Renee's been in charge that I haven't felt confident heading into the game. Reason being is because the game that before was against Villa. At home, we had so many chances that we created, and then Villa score in the 90th minute. And for me, that shows a lot of, I think we haven't been quite together in defence. I think we are really missing Leah Williamson. She brings a lot of security in that. I know it's proud for me to say that, because that's the MK born and raised. But it just tells. I mean, I love Katie Reid. I think she's stepped in really nicely, but you can tell the experience that Leah Williamson's had for club and country. We need it at the back. I think Steph Catley, her defensive partner, you can sense when you look at the best kind of centre back pairings in the world, like for instance Gabrielle and Saliba. One looks different when the other isn't there, for example, and I can tell that as an Arsenal fan for Steph Catley, who normally has Leah Williamson by her side. So I mean, it was a very disappointing loss against City. I think City ultimately deserved it. I think a lot of people said that it could have ended a draw, but I think City just created enough to win the game. I think Chloe Kelly probably had a lot of fans talking on the weekend because she scored an outstanding goal, but also responded on socials with an amazing comeback to City, because I think if you look at that game, the way she celebrated in particular, she really was kind of giving a dig to some of the City fans who were kind of booing her in that game and pointing at the Arsenal badge. I mean, City had a last laugh, but right now it's not looking good for Arsenal, Holly, in terms of the recent run of games that they've had. That's a loss and 2 draws in the last 3 games, and obviously I know you mentioned the league table, so it's not looking good right now early in the season. So hopefully we can kick on. I know as well we lost yesterday in the Champions League against Lyon, so that's also not good. So that's a bad run of games that we've had. So I'm hoping that Renee, for our next game, will kind of get back to winning ways, restore that winning feeling, and then we can kick on, especially as the international break is coming up as well for the women's.
It's just the one time me and Wes are sat here smiling, listening to you talk about Arsenal. So may it continue for our sakes. But obviously the last kind of game that I want to talk about within the Women's Super League is United won, Chelsea won. Because like I said, there's been a lot of different scorelines this weekend that have absolutely muddled up this league table. So what did you make of that one?
I think that was an even game, if I'm being honest. I think both teams, I'm looking at the stats here. Chelsea had 15 shots. Chelsea had 19 shots. United with 15 shots. 6 of them for Chelsea being on target. United had more possession. United, people don't give enough credit. For me, they have been one of the best defenses this season, led by one of my favorite players in the WSL, Maya Letitia. She has been really good at the back for them, and I think Chelsea will be probably disappointed considering the standard that we know that they set for each WSL game. They're going out there to be ruthless. They're going out there to win, and I think they probably feel quite hard done by that result. But I think I think that was a fair result, Holly, considering the nature of the game. And I think United should be really pleased because they faced Arsenal and Chelsea in the last 3 games, and they've got draws between both of them, especially, and also a win in between. So I think United. I'm putting an early prediction here. They are a dark horse for the title. In my opinion, I think they are a dark horse for the title. If you look at their attack as well with Mallard, Ella Toon, Elizabeth Turlin, who I really like. And I think right now the Jess Park and Grace Clinton switch that we saw at the end of the summer transfer window, I think United are winning that with Jess Park. I think she's been really good for them in midfield. So I think it was a fair result, Holly. But I'm just putting it out there. I thought I'd just stick it in there. A little dark horse for the WSL with United.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. But that's the thing, that kind of does lead me on to obviously the table, Wes. And I'll come to you for this one because I know Nelson's mentioned it a little bit, but some of these kind of results in the last couple of weeks has completely changed how the table's kind of looking. Obviously, with Chelsea at the top of 13, City and Tottenham on 12, United on 11, and then Arsenal in 5th on 8. So to be honest with you, I'm not a bit confused, but it's mad how Arsenal have kind of, I'm sorry, Nelson, but how Arsenal kind of dropped off a little bit, isn't it, Wes?
Yeah, how's that Renaissance getting on, by the way, Nels? Hitting a bit of a wall here, a bit of a sticky one, a few bumps in the road. Literally, when I saw the result for the Champions League game last night, I literally was in my head going, "How's the Renaissance getting on?" And I very nearly messaged you, Nels, to say, "How's the Renaissance doing?" But no, it's kind of almost like Tottenham have kind of fell into 3rd place. It feels. And it feels like, again, substance over style, because Tottenham aren't overly playing, in a way in which is normally associated with Tottenham, and yet we're 3rd in the league. So yeah, it just seems a little bit strange. Obviously, it's still very early in the WSL season. There's going to be a few twists and turns, I'm sure. But yeah, I think, listen, if you're up there, there's only kind of one way to go. You're kind of there to be shot at, I guess, and it's up to those at the top end of the league to try and continue their run of form, try and be consistent. I think a big thing for Tottenham in particular is having Ash Neville back from injury. We know the quality that she possesses defensively, and her attacking output as well over the last few years has been really, really good. And she's been a key player for Spurs in the last few years as well. So yeah, I mean, long may it continue, because I think it's making the league a little bit more competitive. But like I say, it feels like from a Spurs point of view, we've just kind of started the season and then sort of fell into 3rd place, to be fair.
No, definitely. And I think as well, actually looking at the bottom end of the table, Nelson, I'll come to you for. Obviously West Ham, Liverpool, Leicester, Everton in there as well. We won't mention it.
Sorry, where Everton?
I'm not mentioning them actually.
They're not struggling, are they? They're not struggling, are they, Everton? Who said that at the start of the season? Who said that? Who said that? Who got hounded for saying that Everton were going to struggle? Look where they are.
Anyway, Nelson.
I can't, Holly. I think when you talk about the table, I think, look, it's only been 5 games, so we're gonna give Everton the benefit of the doubt. I still believe in them, but I think it's quite expected. The bottom 3 in particular, with Leicester, Liverpool, and West Ham, I think they're gonna be fighting it out to survive this season. Brighton have been really kind of a shock. I actually thought Brighton would be in the bottom half, but they're somewhere in the mid-table. So I'd be very surprised. Look, at this point, as long as we finish above you, I will feel very happy. But it's just an odd sight. 1 point behind Chelsea for me. I was like, I'm in an alternate reality here. But yeah, no, I actually want to give you guys credit because I think you guys have started the season really good. And I just want to give credit to where it's due because it's not a fluke that you guys have ended up 3rd. So if people are going to think I'm being bitter because I'm an Arsenal fan, no, the case is you guys have been really good. But in terms of the bottom 3, Holly, I think that's where it's going to be a dogfight to kind of stay up this season. If I'm going to put my money in it, I'm probably going to go for Liverpool. I mean, West Ham and them have both got no points so far, but I think Liverpool are the ones that might go down.
And it is still early days, like we've kind of said, but it's interesting to see how the league table is kind of shaping up this early on. But obviously, as Wes likes to kind of give us hot takes, we're going to start a new segment called the Hat Trick Heroes Hot Take. Now, Wes, I want to come to you first because you've been bigging it up in the chat today that this is a big boy one. So whenever you're ready, please fire away.
Okay, so my hot take is Cristiano Ronaldo is overrated. There, I said it. I just think when I watch him, he's not kind of one that kind of excites me as a football fan. I just think he's massively over, and everybody goes on about him being like the greatest of all time, and and I'm like, okay, but I know towards the back end of his career, obviously, he's decided to earn an absolute fortune in Saudi. But I was even thinking, like, before then, I'm like, this guy's just overrated. Like, there's nothing that I've seen that Ronaldo's done that I look at and go, like, nobody else can do that on a football pitch. Like, nobody. Whereas when I watch some little Argentinian 5'6" geezer, he does things that when I say nobody on a football pitch does, like, no one. Like, nobody's even got the foresight to even have the imagination or the creativity to do what Messi can do. And for me, that's why, Messi over Ronaldo for me. And I think Ronaldo's just massively stat padded. And I think that's why he's considered great, because he's scored a lot of goals and everything else. But I'm like, we always say watch football with your eyes. And yeah, I just feel like Ronaldo's just bit overrated for me. Like, if I had a choice between watching Ronaldo or Messi, I'm taking, if he offered me a ticket for both and they're playing the same time, I'm taking the Messi one every day of the week. So yeah, that's my hot take, and that is Ronaldo is overrated. Cristiano, that is, not R9.
Oh, he's come with the AK-47, Holly. He's come firing. I am just hoping, Holly, that the HMRC or Football Podcast is watching this, because the tax man might come and ask you to pay your taxes, Wes. But we'll wait and see. The thing is, though, I actually don't think you're far off. So look, I'm joining you. I'm joining you in the mud. I don't think you're far off. But yeah, I think that's not a bad hot take, if I'm being honest.
That's just my one, because I mean, you can score loads and loads of goals and everything else, but like that, great. But I don't think that considers you to be an all-time great because you've scored. Like, there's people that have made a living. Like, if I take Billy Sharp, right? Stay with me on this, boys and girls. Billy Sharp has bagged loads and loads of goals, right, in the EFL. But he's bagged loads and loads of goals in the same way that Ronaldo's bagged loads and loads of goals. But does that mean that Billy Sharp is considered a GOAT? I mean, he is to, like, Doncaster fans and Sheffield United fans, but in the wider scheme of things, absolutely not. He's even said it himself. He's just a fat lad from Sheffield. So, do you know what I mean? It's like,
But in that sense, are we not, like, no disrespect to Billy Sharp, the fat lad from Sheffield, but at this point, aren't we talking about the significance of what Ronaldo's goals have done compared to Billy Sharp? That's the only thing that helps him get into these conversations. I still agree that as a
So
football player, there's not much that excites me. I think if he continued, in my opinion, his early United days with that flair that he had, then we're talking. I think, in my opinion, we're having a different conversation here. But since he went to Madrid, he obviously had to change his game, transform it, became more of a goal scorer, and for me, it lost a bit of the excitement that I had when I was a
so
kid watching Ronaldo growing up.
so in terms of these clutch moments, when has Ronaldo actually come up clutch? Like if we're talking Champions League finals for Real Madrid, he's been dominated twice by Gareth Bale for La Decima, and then the overhead kick against Liverpool. If we're talking for Portugal, he's been upstaged by Adair, who hasn't been seen in a Portugal shirt ever again in the Euro 2016 final. If we're talking Man United days, 2008 Champions League final, misses a penalty. Yes, he scored in the game, but actually misses a penalty in the penalty shootout. And that's why he celebrates in the way he does, because he's so grateful that Edwin van der Sar's bailed him out, basically, in that game. So when I look at clutch moments, I don't think Ronaldo's actually done it. You look at Messi, just define clutch, mate. Like Messi comes in clutch near enough more. Well, he's come in clutch more often than Ronaldo has. Like you look at the World Cup final in particular, Messi's the one dragging that Argentine team through. I know Mbappe scores a hat trick in that game as well, but if you look at the state of play and everything, Messi's the one that's grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck and trying to make things happen. So I think there's been more clutch moments from Messi than Ronaldo, and I don't think Ronaldo's had that many clutch moments in his career.
That's fair. I think there are more clutch players than Ronaldo. I hear that. I hear that. But you know what? That hot take is good. That's a good start.
Olivier Giroud has had more clutch moments than Ronaldo.
No, that's a good start, Wes. That's actually a good start. I like that hot take. I like it.
I mean, feel free to jump in the rondo and give us a different hot take, but that's just my one.
Go on, Nelson.
Oh, okay.
Go on.
All right, I'm receiving the ball. Okay, it's fizzed into me. All right, fizz on a half term. On form, if I had to pick, right, on form, who I'd want in my team, who I think, in my opinion, will impact my team better on form between Ousmane Dembele and Kylian Mbappe, I'm taking Ousmane Dembele all day. I'm taking Ousmane Dembele all day. In my opinion, before when they, I know people are gonna come at me for this, because when they were at Monaco and when he was at Rennes, I thought Ousmane Dembele was the better player. I think in terms of complete raw talent, Ousmane Dembele is the better talent. Of course, Mbappe has worked harder in his career to get to where he is, but in terms of who I would want, and now with Ousmane Dembele recently kind of shutting up haters and winning the Ballon d'Or, for me, look, it just speaks volumes that I think a lot of people had doubted him, and obviously his career could have been different at Barcelona. Obviously, he chose a different trajectory. I'm still very grateful, not grateful, that's the wrong word. I'm still very happy for him that he's obviously ended up winning the Ballon d'Or. But even before he won the Ballon d'Or, I still was having like these intense debates with people, especially obviously people might not know that I speak French, so I had these debates with French people and kept telling them that Ousmane Dembele is the better player. Like, I want Ousmane Dembele on my team over Kylian Mbappe. Look, I'm still taking it all day. Look, Mbappe can see this and think I'm going crazy, but I think my opinion, Holly, I've received the ball in a half turn. Okay, and I'm about to visit to you and say that Ousmane Dembele is better than Kylian Mbappe. On form, I'm taking him over Mbappe any day.
Fairs. I mean, they're both really good hot takes, to be fair to you, and I'd probably agree with both of you. I don't really have a hot take apart from the fact that Harry Winks owns Wembley when he played against Real Madrid. So that's pretty much my only hot take, and people will come for me for that. But no, I do like this segment. I think going forward, we should probably have one each week, because as we can see, there are people in the chat having their own little conversations about Messi versus Ronaldo, etc., etc. So we do really appreciate it, and it's a good way to kind of interact with people in the chat as well. But they are some interesting hat-trick hot takes. I like it.
I feel like we started off with a ball on the edge of the box. I've popped it into Nelson and on the edge of the box. He's then popped it back to you, Holly, and you've just gone all the way back to the goalkeeper, like with the hot take.
Wait, but if she does a Paul Robinson and sends it right to the attacking to the attacking area, I'm gonna finish on another hot take. If Kane's trajectory goes the way it goes and he wins the World Cup, I think he is the best English player that we've had, better than Wayne Rooney. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Now that is a hot take. I like that.
I'm gonna leave it there.
No.
See, I've got Wetters on the back foot.
No, because Euro 2004 Rooney, I've never seen anything like it. Like, never seen anything like. He had seasoned ballers, like pros, experienced Donnies. Yet he had them on strings. I think Wayne Rooney's underappreciated in this country. I really do. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. Imagine, you can have do you know what I mean? The ball's just dropped, or it's there to be hit on a volley. Who's the name that you're shouting? It's Rooney, bro. Like, it's Rooney in the playground. It's Rooney. Like,
I'm taking Kane. I'm telling you, that little celebration, that is what I'm having all day.
Don't get me wrong. Harry is incredible, but like, Rooney's just, it's Rooney. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't feel like I don't feel like the generation of kids are going to be screaming like Harry Kane, like, do you know what I mean? When it's there to be hit on a half volley in the playground. Whereas, like, our generation, we had like Rooney, Gerrard, Lampard, Shearer, Drogba, like all of them options. But the first one you always pick is Rooney.
Oh, I don't know, because if it's me,
Rooney on a half volley,
nope. On a volley, you mentioned volley. I'm screaming Gerrard. That's me. With that Martin Tyler commentary and that Andy Gray in the background, that's who I'm screaming. Because Gerrard, for me, in my opinion, is the best English player that I've seen in my lifetime.
You must have been in sleep when Rooney slapped it top bins against Newcastle, broski, because that's where it started from. The whole Rooney. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's fair, but I feel like you're saying this because you've loved Wayne Rooney's Street Striker. That's why That's why.
Do you know how mad it is to get like two brands to basically give you a TV show? Like, do you know how mad that is? Can you imagine anyone doing that these days? Doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same. Let me tell you.
I feel like this is turning into Holly's hot punches, as in we're going to start throwing punches at each other. Hat-trick hot punches. Oh my god.
Rooney was built different. Like,
I think
don't get me wrong. I love Harry Kane. Like, absolutely love Harry Kane. Like, probably one of the most ultimate finishers that you've ever come across. But Rooney was just, there was just something with Rooney. I don't know what it is. But Rooney was just, for me, he was just that special talent that came through young, and it was like, nah, you're sticking. Because how many times have we seen it where we chuck a kid in and then it's like, oh, no, we don't see them for a few years. And then it's like they're 23, 24, and we don't know what's kind of happening with their career. Like, Rooney was like, 16, 17, 18, and he's stuck. Like, do you know what I mean?
All right, I got a question. Does Kane win more if he's at United than what Rooney's achieved in his career? And does Rooney then go to Spurs and win something? Like, if we swapped their careers around or swap the clubs, like, what impact would each player have, and who would you then think would make that impact, have that more of a significant impact? Wow, we are really putting punches today. We are really throwing these punches around.
I think Kane would have won what Rooney would have won at United. No questions asked on that, because you look at the team that Rooney had and you look at the teams that Kane's had at times at Tottenham. I mean, Kane went from, playing with Kyle Walker to then playing with Serge Aurier in the space of 2 years, like Matt Doherty in the space of 3-4 years. Ridiculous. Do I feel like Rooney would have impacted Tottenham in the same way Kane would have? Most likely. Most likely, because I think, I'm not saying, because I don't know Harry Kane personally, but I feel like there's elements of Kane's game that have been modelled on Rooney in terms of the dropping in, the distribution, the pass distribution, everything else. Like that's you're watching and you're automatically going, yeah, there's a Wayne Rooney element to Kane's game in there, but I don't think Rooney would have any of Kane's elements in his game, if that makes sense.
I like this. This is nice. We should have put hashtag come at me in this, but yeah, this is a great segment. I like this.
But I agree with Darren there in the sense of I don't think Rooney would have Kane's goal record. But I feel like he would have impacted Tottenham in a similar way in terms of, like obviously Kane's relationship with Son. I feel like if Rooney had that relationship with Son, it would have still been fairly similar in that sense.
Very interesting. No, it's a cool segment. I like it. We've kind of diverted from just our two, but it's a good one. We've kind of flourished some better and improved ones, which
That's
I
because you went back to the goalkeeper, Holly. Nelson had to get one in.
There you go.
Nelson had to load the box. He's put Maguire up top and he's waiting for flick-ons.
It's all words at the end. I feel we're winning now, so it's all good. But that does kind of lead us on to the last kind of segment of the show, and that be FPL. And Nelson, I'll come to you first because I know Wes is probably going to want to bask in the fact that he's beaten me this week. So Nelson, I'm going to let you go first and explain your team.
Horrible. I did the equivalent of the FPL wildcard. And I did a wild card. And look, I'm quite bitter when it comes to FPL because I never want to bring in any Spurs players, but Spurs have been on form. So I said I'm going to bring Spurs players in. And look what they did for me. See? Look at that. Okay, that's reassurance that I can keep them in my team. And I thought, bringing in, £1 million player in Olivia Smith, Fujino, who's had a great game as well against West Ham when City beat West Ham. I just thought, she would add more goals and assists to my game. As you can see, I've brought in Jess Park and Melvin Mallard, who, when United started the first 3 games, they were on fire. But it just didn't work out. I chose the wrong captain. I didn't know Mariona Caldente would have scored on the weekend. So if I had gone for her, we're looking at, a different amount of points. But I am looking, Holly, for this weekend to maybe... the great thing about the WSL one is that you can make 2 transfers per game week. The only thing is it doesn't add up, when you miss one, it adds up over the course of the weeks. It's 2 basically every week. So I'm looking to take out Pacheco from Everton, who didn't do very well. She's kind of really gone downhill since the Merseyside derby. And then I think I might take out Olivia Smith. I think she's not been really good. And I think Renee Slagers has always kind of tweaked her kind of like front line. And Olivia Smith has always kind of come off within the hour mark. So I'm going to probably take her off. But yeah, I don't mind. Wes, look, I got my Tottenham players in there. I feel really happy about that. They've given me a lot of security. I think Kopp is actually an underrated keeper, in my opinion, in the league. I think she's a really good keeper out there. But that's my squad.
Killer, because Holly's internet has died, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do next. Holly just put in our chat that her internet's died. So yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. Here she is. No, she's gone again. No,
I call that a triple save right there. That's a triple save. She's come back and she saved 3 shots, considering that the ball came back to her in goal. We've launched it upfield and she saved us from conceding. So well done, Holly. Well done. Yeah. I was just saying, Holly, that I'm gonna take out Olivia Smith in my squad, and also maybe take out Pacheco at left centre back, because Olivia Smith has always kind of started Arsenal games, but always seems to come off the hour mark. So there's not much game time minutes there for her to make an impact. But 41 is quite disappointing. And I'll look to kick on for next week. So we'll see, hopefully next week, if I can do better.
Yeah, hopefully yours won't do an internet die and you don't lose your points. I don't know what happened there, so do apologise to everybody that was kind of watching, and you guys that were kind of left in the lurk while I did a disappearing act. But no, 41, It means you can only get better, Nelson. So it's all good in the head. And then obviously we have to move on to FPL. And Wes, I'll let you go first, my friend.
Yeah, I just want to say, Holly, your comeback's probably better than Andros Townsend's hairline, by the way, because that is some serious comeback. Yeah, look at this, 69 points. I brought in Mohamed Kudus, and he's done bits for me. Antoine Semenyo, if he's not in your team, get him in your team. Look at that, double 18 points for me. Yeah, kind of, been doing bits, really. If you look at the leagues, I'm at the top, sitting pretty. You know what I mean? Is what it is.
It's all right. It's going to be famous last words. I'm waiting for it.
Obviously, I put Haaland in, captain, 16 points. So I took out Ekatike, and I thought I'd put in my guy Welbs, but he didn't really perform. My bench actually performed relatively okay, which I wasn't expecting. But yeah, look, Semenyo's doing bits for me. Reinders is one I'm tweaking with at the minute. I don't know whether to keep him in or take him out because he's not really producing the points that I need. But yeah, FPL is doing me all right this season. So yeah, 85 on game week 7. I think I hit some other good high scores in the time we've been away as well. Like I say, sitting pretty at the top. It's lonely at the top, guys. Lonely up there.
I'll tell you what, I need to beat you, man. You're
lonely up there, guys. You know
He's learned. He's learned very well. He's learned I'm very proud of him. This is I'm like a founding father. I'm very happy with how he's been able to make this remontada.
Munoz is a good one as well to get in. Obviously, I've got Gabriel. Obviously, Arsenal's defensive record, because that's all they seem to do is just sit back, smash it long, hope for a set piece, and everything else. So Gabriel is quite good for a little goal as well in there. So yeah, I think Palace is an interesting one. Obviously, you've got, like I say, Munoz. Ismail Assar's been coming up clutch with a few goals lately, but I think the main two to get in your teams are probably Haaland and Semenyo.
Yeah, Semenyo is definitely a cheat code, I think. I mean, for me, I went for a bit of a gamble and put Simmons in. Didn't really do much for me. I'm not going to lie to you. And I also have never, ever, ever put any Arsenal players in. So I'm probably putting myself down anyway. So bad on you, Wes, for putting Gabriel in.
Listen. Points equals prizes, guys. So you know what I mean. It is what it is. So no, you need to do what you got to do at the end of the day.
Nah, I'm not sticking any Arsenal players in. That's not what I do, man. That's not what I do. But it will be interesting because, like I say, I feel like we've after taking the reins from Nelson, him showing us the ways last year, I feel like we are slowly getting into our groove of FPL. So it's going to be an interesting run for the rest of the season. And maybe next year, all three of us can do both leagues. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that, but we could give it a go. We could give it a whirl. But like I say, it's been a very, very action-packed show tonight. Like I say, I don't know what was going on with my internet, but we happily came back. You can also see my lights have turned off as well. So I'm having an absolute mare tonight.
Have you paid your electricity bill, by the way? Any chance?
Like, to be fair, those are done by batteries, man. So I actually haven't charged them. But that being said, it's been a good show tonight. I've enjoyed it. I loved our little hot takes segment as well. That was good fun. So we'll go around the table, say our goodbyes, and where everybody can find us. So Wes, thanks once again. Where can everybody find you, my friend?
Yep, so people can find me on Twitter at Wezo10, the unofficial Moussa Dembele fan account, as everyone knows. So yeah, usually tweeting things about greatest Belgian to greatest Premier League shores, bar none. And I'm not talking Eden Hazard either, or Vincent Kompany. People can find me on Instagram at Wezo32. Tend to be at Spurs home games. That might change in the next couple of months or so. But yeah, trying to get in as many games as I can while I can. And yeah, people can also find any football coaching related stuff, Kofa or Kickoff Football Academy across all the socials.
Bosh, lovely jubbly. So go make sure you check out Wes' stuff, and obviously make sure you subscribe to Hatchet Heroes and more. But Nelson, how about you as well? It's great to have you back on. Where can we find you doing your thing?
Well, it's a bit different this time because people can find me at ntumba25. So that's N, my last name. You can see there, Tumba25 on Instagram and Twitter.
Hey!
It's been a while. It's been a long time coming, but yeah, that's where you guys can find me. Holly, just wanted to add as well that people can obviously look and find our profiles in the description page. So it's all there for you guys to follow us, our Instagram and X accounts as well, on all socials.
Boom. I like that. Lovely stuff. So make sure you are subscribing to Hat Trick Heroes. You are following us on all of our channels, because there will be content coming out very, very shortly, and we can't wait to share it with you. And like I say, thank you to everybody that's tuned in live, that's going to rewatch this, add their comments. We do very, very much appreciate it. And like I say, we are pretty much enjoying our Wednesday nights. They are good fun. There's lots to cover in this show, not just Spurs, not just Arsenal, but the whole league, the Women's League, and much, much more. But I guess that kind of leaves us to say, until next time, we'll see you very, very soon.